Hi, everybody. My name is Chi Blatt with Trillium Family Services. I'm the Vice President of the Community-Based Operations in the Valley and Central Oregon region. I've had the opportunity of working with Trillium for about 20 years. I've gotten to work in the inpatient level of care down to our community-based level of care. So I'm thrilled to be here to share a little bit about what we do, how you can take care of yourself, and help each other out. So when we think about mental health, we're thinking about it holistically. We're thinking about how the brain is connected to the body. And when we're having discussions about mental health or talking about it in a session, we're going to be looking at the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of each individual. It's how we think, it's how we feel, it's how we act in our daily lives. And just like physical health, the mental health affects every part of our life. It affects our relationships, it affects school performance, work performance, managing stress, and our overall health. The research has shown over the course of time that when we build that foundation to be able to manage stressors that are in our lives, when we take care of ourselves, that actually has long-lasting effects on us in a positive way, where maybe it's hard to think about you turning 50, but when you are older, your body has that foundation. Your body has that ability to bounce back further and faster. So when we talk about mental health, we don't think of it just as the brain anymore. We actually think also about the body as well. So if you're thinking about mental health, an analogy that might be helpful is if you cut your arm and you got treatment for it, you took care of it, it would take time to heal and it would also get better over the course of time. If you ignore it, it could get worse slowly. It could get worse really fast. And that's how mental health is as well. So what we want to do again is build that foundation so that we can find a fulfilling life that we're living. We're resilient, we're more focused, and we're better connected with others. And the other part that I want to share here about humans is that we're resilient. We face challenges every day and we still are able to show up the next day. And part of what our work is in the community is to really look at what the definition of resiliency is for somebody. And each definition will look different for them. And from there, how do we bounce back and how do we bounce forward? So when we're looking at resiliency, we're not just coming back to a place that was good. We're going to continue that journey to see how far we can go. How do we build the life that we find worth living? Because today's world can be overwhelming. You've got school and work and friends and expectations that are floating around, questions about the future all at once, and your brain isn't fully developed. So sometimes your emotions or your responses might feel like they're a roller coaster, and that's absolutely normal. The thing is when we build these skills, we actually are not only role modeling for other people, but we're taking care of ourselves to show this is how we do this. This is how we build a healthy community together. So some things that when we're looking at therapy that come up are what is therapy and what kind of therapy is there? And you may have heard about therapy from a friend or a family member, seen it on TV, but really when we're thinking about therapy, we're wanting that to be a safe space for you to talk about your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences with a trained professional. Our job as therapists is to be able to listen and support and build that foundation and challenge you to identify the skills and build that skill box. The reason I say challenge is because change is hard. And when we're asking for that change, that can feel really hard. What I want to share with y'all is that you can do it. And there's no time that's too early. Say, nothing bad has happened to me so much that I need therapy. That's not a thing. You can seek out a therapist at any point to navigate things like anxiety around testing, being able to sleep at night because our mind is racing, being able to work on interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships, just as a note, are things that are interactions with other people. How do we have healthy interactions with other people? So there's no time that is too soon to start therapy, but there's also no time that's too late. At any point that you start and engage in therapy, that is where you are taking care of yourself, and we will meet you there. So the different types of therapy that are out there, I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. This by no means means that this is all that's out there. But there are a few different types of therapy that you might see out there in the world. And one of them is cognitive behavioral therapy. And that helps understand the connection between our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, and then the tools to manage the negative thinking patterns. These are automated thoughts that pop in our head for all of us, where something happens and we have this automated thought that comes, and sometimes we can spiral and get stuck on those. So we're looking at patterns, we're looking at adjusting some of those patterns to be able to be more adaptive to the things that we experience. Dialectical behavioral therapy focuses on mindfulness, regulating emotions, and then handling relationships more effectively. So this is looking at, how do I stay grounded and have healthy interactions with other people? Part of what we do in therapy is have an identified, quote, client. So even if you're the identified client, what we also understand is you all have humans all around you in your lives that are supports, that are part of your family, that are a part of your household, that are important to you. And we want to include those people as well. So family therapy is a component of what we do in therapy to help work together. We could have peers, we could have family support partners, we could have family members, but this is a space for us to navigate through strengthening community and our communication together and support. Therapy can also look like group therapy. It's not just individual therapy. And in this setting, it's similar, where we're getting humans together and we have the opportunity to actually have some perspective taking or opening the lens from what we can maybe or typically or automatically see for situations. So group therapy is often a really nice way to have social connections with people in a manner that allows us to also find healing. So those are some of the therapies that are out there that you might experience if you were to join in an outpatient level of care. And therapy really isn't about fixing someone. It's not saying that someone is bad or they had all these things happen to them so they need to go to therapy. It's really about creating a supportive space to grow, heal, and strengthen your mental health. So how do you actually engage in services? You might say, oh, therapist might sound good to me, but I don't know how to find one. And there's various ways that you can do that in the community setting. Your primary care physician is one. They would be a good person for you to chat with and have a referral sent. They could also help you identify some referral options as well. In many schools, there's also schools counselors, social workers, school psychologists that are there. And in some locations, you might have Trillium there with prevention and or outpatient services. So reaching out to any of those people, or even a trusted adult that you can speak with, would be a good link to any option for mental health services. Outside of the school-based services, we also have community-based services. And the counties in each region have their own behavioral health team. And some of them will go into the schools as well. Some of them have team members who are in the schools, and part of them are in their clinic. But you can also reach out to them to see what your options are for therapy, if that's something that you feel like you want to engage in at any point. But there are many options where you can have free or low-cost counseling. When we're looking at preventative services in our school locations, we're going to be having brief check-ins to have skill building, resource identification, and seeing if it's a good match. Maybe you want to feel out whether this person that's in your school could be helpful to meet with weekly. And from there, if you both agree to that, you could then engage in services with them pretty easily. But where there are prevention services in schools, those are available to everybody. And if you don't know who they are, get connected with your school counselor and they will be able to get you connected with them. Sometimes we have experiences that are really difficult and we maybe don't have the resources set up. Maybe something happened and you aren't seeing a therapist. There are crisis support lines available that are important to be aware of either for you or somebody else, such as calling 988, your suicide prevention crisis hotline, and also being able to reach out to a text hotline. And you can reach out to them by texting HOME, HONME, to 741-741. And those people are available day and night to you if you need to connect with somebody, if you need to safety plan with somebody, or identify resources. So when we're wrapping up, thinking about why mental health matters, it's because it's a core part of who we are. Just like our physical health, it's taking care of our minds, which takes care of our bodies. We can live healthier lives and have more fulfilling lives through the course of our day. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. And please, just final note for you all is that talking about your mental health, taking care of yourself is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And we recognize how hard of work you all are doing each day and really appreciate the time to get to chat with you. Thank you so much.